Special education is a variety of resources and services that are provided to students with disabilities that helps to prepare said students for the life ahead of them. Students that qualify for special education will get an IEP, which stands for Individualized Educational Program, which gives the students an individualized education plan with their parents involved so the teacher and parent can work together to plan out the student's curriculum.
Before 1970, students with disabilities were denied of a public education. Only 1 in 5 students were accepted into a public school before the EHA law was passed. 64% of special education students were put in a general education classroom, making learning nearly impossible and very difficult. Today, students with disabilities are mostly in public schools. Students now have designated classes with trained teachers to help maximize their education. They also get to learn along with other special education students and learn social skills and be able to communicate better.
Kids with special needs had been segregated from schools for most of the 19th century. They were limited to very few schools that people had called special schools. These were only for kids that had disabilities so that they could still have a formal education. These classes that they were having were brought together by the students' parents so that they could make the students feel more comfortable and still give them an opportunity to learn. The sad thing is that kids with special needs haven't been treated very well, even though that they should still be treated equally.
Roughly 200 years after the United States was established, little to no help was given to benefit the rights of the students with special needs. At the same time, over 4.5 million students with disabilities were denied schooling. Around the 1970s, the idea of equal education opportunities began, followed up by legislation, and many opportunities that were unheard of were brought to the table of ideas to better the education of students with disabilities. In the early 70s, laws were passed that were allowing states to fund the special education systems. States provided 91% of the funding for schools, while the federal funds filled the rest of the way. The Rehabilitation Act of 1973 guaranteed civil rights to all disabled people and required accommodations for students in schools. Education for All Handicapped Children Act, EHA, was passed in 1975, which enforced the right of children with disabilities to receive a free and appropriate education. In 1977, EHA was revised and is now known as the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. This broadened the use of IEPs and ITPs, which is an individual transition plan, for all students in special education programs. Training was now being researched and provided for teachers and educators. These students finally got the individualized education that they have needed.